Hi literature lovers and food friends, it's Diana and I am here with you to look at the intersection of food and literature. Welcome to this video looking at gin in 1984. This is the first time I do a beverage, I think. It's quite fun. I have learned so much about gin. So let's get started. Before we move on to the meat of the issue, or the liquor of the issue, please like, subscribe, share, comment if you enjoy these videos. So today's episode is a little different. Last week I did a look at 3 different books and I said we were getting out of the heaviness of 1984. And this is about 1984, but it's not very heavy because we're talking about gin. In fact, gin is not heavy at all. It's rather light, which was interesting. So like I said, or maybe I didn't say it, I learned so much about gin. All I knew before going on this 1984 journey was a brief kind of foray with gin when I was in my early legal drinking age years when I was in college. And had gin a couple of times, and I absolutely thought, this tastes piney. And I didn't know why it tastes piney. I have learned. But that's all I knew, and I kind of like left gin. Well, in 1984, if you've watched the other 2 videos, you have seen that gin is referred to as oily and synthetic. It's called Victory Gin in 1984. And the only other mention of gin so far, we haven't talked about section 3 yet, is clove gin or gin flavored with cloves. That was a beverage of a specific establishment in the past. So this makes sense in several ways from what I've learned about gin. I'm trying not to get like all over the place and ahead of myself. I'm going to say a couple things about gin. The piney thing. So all gin is made with juniper, and that's where the piney flavor comes from. That is one requirement to be considered gin, is that it has juniper. Now, what happens, and I'll get into more of the details, is that gin, different companies who make gin add other botanicals, and so gin can be very different. It can be just the juniper, or it can have other notes and flavors. I looked at several different sources, and I'll put them in the description, so you can go to those links if you want to and learn more about gin. One of them will be a link to a local bar here. I thought, what better way to learn about gin than to go ask people who use it. And hi, I'm on a journey of discovery to find out why the gin in 1984 is oily. And to do that, I'm going to go out of my studio and into the world. So, question from reading I don't know if you've ever read 1984.
I haven't.
Okay, so they drink a lot of gin, and they describe the gin is described as oily, which doesn't sound appealing to me. I don't think it's supposed to sound appealing.
No.
Is there any reason that you can think of that a gin would be oily?
It would have to do with the botanicals.
So here's the first possible answer. The botanicals might make it oily. And Citadel, this gin, uses numerous botanicals, including the juniper.
Anywhere from 7 to 9 drinks, yes, on the gin.
So they all look very yummy. So if I wanted, which one would you recommend?
To start you off with right now on a hot summer day, I'd probably start you off with a Bramble.
right. Possibility number 2 for how a gin might get oily: the distillation process. And there are 3 different ways the botanicals are distilled into a gin. One is steeping, which is like tea. Another is vacuum distillation. And the third is infusion. And in infusion, a basket with the botanicals are held over a hot pot of the first distilled alcohol, and the vapors go up and release the essential oils out of the botanicals. Oils.
All right. So on the aviation, this was a takeoff in 1916, I want to say. My timing might be a little off, so I hope my boss doesn't see this. But we're using gin in there, the crema de violet. The crema de violet is, it's going to be this tall purple bottle here.
Oh, I see it.
And so it is purple color in it. They couldn't find this, but they stopped manufacturing it. They couldn't get the raw ingredients that they needed for it, so they weren't able to continue making this. So they had to transfer this drink called Aviation to a casino, which is an orange riff on it. This one's gonna have your lemon, it's gonna have the crema de violet in it, a little bit of sugar in there, some maraschino liqueur, and your gin. So it is a very nice balanced drink. And the flavors in it are absolutely wonderful. If you love this one, you know that you can branch out to the casino, and that casino is going to have the
so you can make a casino now.
Yes, I can make a casino now, and that's going to pull out the Old Tom's gin.
Another possible reason that the gin is oily is the type of gin. There are 5 different types of gin. Admittedly, none of them are synthetic. And one of the types of gin, the Old Tom gin, is described as having a malty mouthfeel. Maybe that means oily. Gin started as a medicinal liquor, and it was thought to, or its purpose was to clean the blood for the liver. That just makes me laugh. Okay, and that was in the 16th century, I believe. One thing I did not record while at MarMo is the background conversation I was having with another patron there. And he suggested that there was a possibility that the gin became oily in 1984 because it was aged in barrels. Now, I didn't think gin was actually aged in barrels, but some gin is aged in barrels. And so who knows? Maybe that is reason number 5, that the gin might be oily in 1984. Barrels. I'm guessing in 1984, if that were the reason, they wouldn't be clean barrels. So there we go. 5 possible reasons that the gin that Winston drinks in 1984 is oily. 5 possible reasons and not one definite answer. The only thing I'm sure about is I am glad that the gin in 1984 is oily and not the gin in my world. So there you go. So much information about gin, so much more fun learning about gin than reading 1984. And there's nowhere to go but back into part 3 of 1984 from here. I can stall no longer. And I guess I shouldn't say fun, but I don't know. Should a dystopia ever be considered fun? Should reading about torture be thought of as... I didn't find it fun. But I will see y'all. Thank you for joining me for a look at gin. And next time, I will absolutely get to the third, not like I've been putting it off, the part 3 of 1984, and we'll finish this sucker up. Bye. Remember to like and subscribe and share and comment. See y'all later.